Hi, it's Allison. As some of you know, I am a runner, and as such I get pretty tight in my hamstrings and calves and hip flexors. All around the legs get pretty tight. So I thought I'd show you my post-run stretch. It's a really kind of slower, more restorative movement. When I say restorative though, it doesn't mean easy where you're gonna flop into the poses. You're still gonna maintain some muscular energy, but allow the muscles to stretch over a longer period of time. And so I have a block, my mat, and then we're gonna get started. I'm gonna have you first come into child's pose, knees wide, big toes together. Just drop your hips back and allow the hands to reach out in front of you. And in this child's pose, allow the hands and the arms to just be heavy. Sometimes we do child's pose and it's very active. So here we're just going to just allow the head and arms and shoulders to just drop in and be heavy. And as you allow the upper body to be heavy, you might feel like your mid-spine is sinking down toward the mat a little more. You're getting into more of an extension through the spine. Just notice how that feels. And take one big breath in here. Exhale. And then come up to tabletop position. Once you get to tabletop, take your right foot back behind you, toes onto the ground, and stretch out your calves just by pressing your right heel back. So I'm going to press into my hands and push myself back toward the back of the mat. Right heel trying to press downward. Feel that stretch up to the back of the leg, and then just release. Again, press all the way back and release. And one more, press all the way back and release. Bring the right knee back down, and the left leg is going to do the same work. So left toes plug into the mat and then press back, plugging in the thumb and index finger knuckles of the hands as you press the heel back and release. And again, press back. Feel the stretch going up to the back of the leg from your heel all the way up, and then back. And one more, press, get active, strong, and then release. Come back to tabletop position. Inhale, tail up, chest up, shoulders back. Exhale, round, press into the hands. Just want to warm up the spine here a little bit. Inhale, tail and chest up, and exhale and round. And one more, breathe in and breathe out. Come back to neutral spine, pick up the right leg behind you. Inhale, roll the right hip open. Exhale, close. Inhale, roll open. Exhale, close. A few more rounds. Inhale, breath. Exhale, 2. And one more. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. This time we're going to roll open. Stay with the hips open. Bend the knee in the sky, and then take this knee around toward the right shoulder into the chest for some big hip circles. Open it up here, over to the right, to the shoulder, into the chest, and then kick back toward a donkey kick. Open, and then one more. And then we go the other direction. So bringing the knee into the chest first, out to the right, and open, and then it closes back into the chest, out to the right, and one more. Bring the knee in, step the right foot forward, take your left knee as far back as you can. This is where a block might come in handy. So I'm going to take my block inside my right foot. The heels of my palms are going to go onto my block. Tuck your left toes, lift your left knee, breathe in, try and drive your hips down toward the mat, open the chest, and then pull the hips back, pull all the way back, straightening out the right leg. Try to drive your left heel toward the mat and bow down toward the mat in the chest. Again, bend the front knee, open. You'll see my hips are sinking low, my chest is rising up, and exhale, pulling everything back, trying to level the hips. You're not just pulling back and the hips are askew here. As you pull back, hips are level. So inhale, chest rises. Exhale, pull hips back like you're trying to squeeze the thigh bones back toward one another, but they of course are very far apart. Just hold here. One more inhale breath. Exhale. And then rebend your front knee. Let's drop the left knee down to the ground. Take your block over toward your right side on a lower level. If you can reach the hand to the ground, or if you don't have a block, you can also take the hand on the knee. So your choice, but I like to use the block here. Breathe in, lift the left arm up. And then as you exhale, reach the hand over toward the right. Inhale, breath. Exhale, reaching over. You're going to feel, hopefully, lots of stretch on the left hip flexors. Inhale, breath. Exhale, breath. And one more. Breathe in and breathe out. Inhale, rise up. Take the hands down to the mat. And then start to pull your hips back. Just finding a little bit of length here in the hamstrings. Right now, I'm going to keep my right toes down, stretching out the front of my shin, hips pull back. And just notice how that feels in the front of the shin and into the foot. We don't often have our foot in this position, so just notice that. One more breath in. Exhale. So we're going to start to get a little bit deeper here in both lunge and as well as the hamstring stretch. So start to bend your front knee. I'm going to allow my knee to go over my toes because I have my fingers down, I'm supporting. You can also have fingers or hands on blocks. Breathe in, lift the chest. And then exhale, pull back. This time lift the toes and see if you can wiggle the right foot forward a little bit more. As you wiggle the right foot forward, keep hugging the right hip back. It feels like counterintuitive, but I want you to feel like you're lengthening the right foot away and at the same time drawing your right hip back. Okay, again, put the foot down, get a little bit lower here, drawing the tail down toward the mat, lift the chest, and then exhale, pull everything back. Again, can you slide your right foot forward a little more, but keep pulling your right hip back. So we're slowly making our way into a deeper lunge, yes, as well as a deeper splits. And you, at the same time as you're doing this, as you're following along, might think, okay, this is as far as I can go, and that's awesome. You stay exactly where you are. And every time you need to rebend the knee, just rebend, open the chest, and then come back, but you don't have to go any further. If you are joining me and going further, you might want to tuck your left toes and just shimmy the left knee back a little bit. So you're more on the quadricep side of the kneecap. Again, breathe in. You're going to bend the knee. You're not getting very far now. Open up the chest, but you're going to feel a lot of stretch in the left hip flexors. And then pull your hips back, straighten the right leg, slide the right foot more forward. Tuck the left toes, take the knee back a little bit more. Breathe in, lift the chest. Exhale, and now I'm having a hard time getting my foot down toward the ground, but I'm going to start to lift the chest, point the toes in both directions, and then again, straighten the right leg. So it's really helpful to have blocks underneath the hands if you can't take the hands all the way to the ground. But see if you can get as low as possible for you. But at the same time, again, that muscular energy of pulling the thigh bones back into the center line. You're not just plopping into this. This was a move that we went into slowly, methodically. Breathe in, lift the chest. Exhale, see if you can go a little bit lower. So one other spot that you can work on here is to tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and then start to pull all 5 toes of your right foot toward your face. At the same time as doing all of that, try and draw your left hip forward, and you should feel the hamstrings of the right leg really turn on, as well as the hip flexors of the left leg. Whew, this is getting a little harder. And we're going to be here about 5-ish more breaths. So find your deepest variation. And again, not plopping, but working into this mindfully, finding that muscular integrity. 2 more rounds of breath. And then to come out of this slowly, especially in the fuller version of splits, drag your right foot back, re-bend your knee, hands framing the right foot, tuck your left toes, lift your right leg up, bend the knee, roll it open. Oh, that feels so much better. And then really open up, keep the hips level. Try and open the knee a little higher toward the sky and the heel a little closer toward your left glute. Big breath in, and then exhale. Let's step the right foot outside the right hand. Lower the left knee back to the ground. Start to let the knee roll out to the right and then come back. So it's like a little rocking motion, back to the right and come back. Again, block helpful here. You can take hands on the block or forearms on the block just to give your hands a little rest. So my right foot is toward the right edge of my mat. I've lifted my foot. I'm on the outer edge of the foot, protecting my knee. I'm only going as far as it feels like I can successfully, mindfully go there without the knee just flopping open. So I always like to think of having a rubber band, imaginary rubber band attached from the inner knee to my ribs. So it's only going so far, but it is going to be able to pull back. So I feel that resistance. So now go to the point where it feels like, okay, this is work. You're going to stay there. As you're in this spot with the knee out to the side, try and think of driving your right hip downward. Open up the chest. If you can come down all the way down to the ground on the forearms, please do as it feels right. And again, you're driving your right hip down, your left hip kind of downward, and the chest rising away. Feeling all that stretch in the left hip flexors, as well as all the awesome stretch here in the right external hip rotators. Three more rounds of breath. And then come back onto your hands, walk your foot back in. Take another three-legged dog, right leg to the sky, bend the knee, roll the hip open, stretch it all out, big breath in. And exhale, bring both knees down to the ground. All right, we're gonna do all that on the other side. So first, taking the left leg back behind you, lift the left leg up, roll left hip on top of right hip, and then roll it closed. Inhale, roll open. Exhale, roll closed. Go 3 more. 2 and 1. Now roll open and hold open. Bend the knee so heel comes to butt. Big breath in. And as you exhale, take the knee out toward the left, toward your left upper arm, into your chest. Donkey kick back and roll it open. So big hip circles out to the left, the arm, to the chest, up and roll open. And one more in this direction. And let us switch directions. Bring the knee into the chest first, out to the left, all the way open, and then back into the chest. Good, one more. And this time when you bring the knee into the chest, let's simply step the left foot forward, catch your block, heels of the palms on the block, take your right knee further away, tuck your right toes, lift your right knee. My left toe is straight forward. You're gonna start to bend in to your front knee, open up through the chest. Exhale, pull your left leg straight, drive your right heel toward the mat. Again, inhale, bend. Exhale, pull back. Inhale. Exhale. And then we're going to hold as you pull your hips back here, this wide-legged pyramid, bowing your chest toward the mat. Again, the left hip driving upward, the right hip pulling toward the mat. Breathe in, breathe out. And then let's bend the front knee. Drop your right knee down. Let's take the block over toward the left side near the hip. You can move it to a lower level, or again, hand to the ground, or elbow or hand on your left leg. Inhale, lift the right arm up. And as you exhale, let's reach up and then over toward the left. So you're going to still think of driving your tailbone under as you lift the chest, sternum rises, and then find more stretch through the side body. Keep checking out your left knee, that it's not rolling out to the left. Knee stacked right over your heel. Take one more breath. Inhale, rise up. All right, bringing your hands down to the mat. You're going to start to pull your hips back. So this is Ardha Hanumanasana, your half split with your toes still pressing down. Pull your left outer hip back. Big stretch through the front, top of the foot, front of the shin. Breathe in, breathe out. And then we bend through the left knee, again, allowing the knee to go toward the toes or even further over the toes. And exhale, pull back. This time, lift the foot. If you'd like to have hands on blocks here, again, always a possibility. Kind of helps if the floor feels really far away. And then again, we're going to bend, get the knee a little bit more forward. Exhale, pull back. And now let's start to wiggle the left heel forward more. As you do this, the left hip is still going to try and pull back away. So you're going to feel more stretch in the left hamstrings. Inhale, breath. Exhale, bend the front knee, lift the chest. And then exhale, pull your hips back, wiggle your left heel forward. Breath in. Exhale, bend, open the chest. You'll start to see that my foot is going to be ahead or in front of my knee as I do this. Inhale, breath. Exhale, wiggle the foot and then bend the knee, getting a little lower each time into this deeper variation of splits. Breathe in and then exhale. See if you can take the heel forward. As I said on the other side, there's always a possibility to just be like, I'm good. I'm staying exactly where I am. I'm not going further. And now let's start to take our right knee. Tuck the right toes behind you. Take the right knee further back. So you're getting into a deeper variation of your split. I'm mindful on this side. I can't go as far as I can go on the other side, right? I am human after all. This is my tighter side. So I just want to go as slowly as I can manage, but powerfully as well. So every time I feel like I can go a little bit more, I'm going to still hug my thigh bones into the sockets and then see if I can take the legs further apart, but still, again, muscular strength. You can point the toes, lift the chest. And that final little bit of tucking the toes behind you, lifting through the knee, you're going to feel a lot more work here. Pull the left toes back now. Oh, 5 more breaths. One more, breathe in. Exhale. If you have the knee lifted, drop it back down very gently. Let's drag the left leg back. Whew. Rebend the knee. That was a lot of work. Tuck your right toes, hands down. Lift the left leg to the sky. Bend the knee, roll the hip open. Big breath in, lift the knee higher. Exhale, let's step the left foot outside the left hand. Drop the right knee down. You can grab your block and just place the forearms on the block to move into lizard. Just leaning the hips over to the left a little bit more and coming back. So it's a little bit of rocking motion over to the left and come back. Finding that spot here on the side where you feel like I can stay, I can breathe and manage my breath. I'm gonna be really focused here in this meditative way. You're not just plopping into it. You're not just allowing the leg to fall over. Again, imagining that rubber band from the inside of your left knee connected to your left ribs so that you can allow the knee to go to the side but feel that resistance of pulling back. If you can take your forearms to the ground for a deeper stretch, go for that move. But always, the block is such a great tool. You can keep your forearms on the block as well. So as I'm in this pose, I'm going to think of pressing my hip bones, my frontal hip bones down as I lift my chest away. Just notice the difference that makes. As you extend the spine, press the hips down. Two more rounds of breath. Come onto your hands. Whew. Tuck your back toes. Lift the left leg to the sky. Bend the knee, roll the hip open. That's a really awesome deep stretch on my left side. Big breath in. And exhale. Let's drop both knees to the ground. Sweep the legs around. Paschimottanasana, legs out in front of you. Seated forward fold. Breathe in, reach the arms up. And then breathe out, bow forward. Places to grab. So peace fingers can go around the big toes. Hands can also grab outside the feet. Or if your hamstrings really still feel tight, a little bit of a bend in the knees, and this hands alongside the legs or onto the legs as you pull the chest toward the toes. Try and think of turning the hip bones, the frontal hip bones, toward the thighs so that the tailbone starts to kind of reach up and back and away. Breathe in, extend forward in the chest, and breathe out, bow all the way down. We'll take one more breath in. Exhale. Inhale, lift your chest up. Bring your feet together, soles of the feet together, Baddha Konasana. Drive your heels in toward the pubic bone, lift the chest up. Exhale, bow forward again. You can start to pull the toes apart, let the knees drop toward the ground, or even use the elbows to press the knees downward. Every inhale from the crown of the head, pull forward, and every exhale from the sternum, bow downward. Breathe in and come up to a seated pose. We're going to take the left leg straight and the right knee into the chest, and then hug the knee in with your left arm. Nice simple twist. Breathe in, sit up tall. Breathe out, take the right hand behind you, and see if you can find a little bit more twist here in the spine. Keep your left toes flexed. Inhale, breath. Exhale, twist. One more, breathe in. Exhale, breathe out. Come back around through center. Same thing other side. Right leg will go straight. Left leg bring it inside the thigh. Hug the knee in with your right arm. Inhale, left arm reaches up and back. Plug the fingers in. Breathe in, sit up tall. Exhale, twist around. So as I'm twisting, I'm giving my left knee a gentle pull inward. That gives a little extra stretch to the outer hip, IT band area, all the way up through the left leg. And you're getting that awesome spinal twist at the same time. Come back around through center. Take a moment to just sit, however is comfortable for you. I want to tell you that there's a lot of ways to stretch after you run or you hike or take a long walk, but that's one of my favorite ways to really loosen up through the hip flexors and glutes and hamstrings. And so I hope that this served you in the purpose that you needed, and I will look forward to teaching you again very soon. Well done, everyone. Namaste.